How's it going, friends? My name is Fringy, it's August 22nd, and welcome to System Update for the week's gaming news and discussion. Now, there's been fuck all in terms of gaming news, so this episode's probably going to be pretty short. Just bear with me, it's a shit time to be a fucking gamer, that's for sure. Ubisoft announced that Watch Dogs will be the last mature game they'll release on the Wii U. According to Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot, Nintendo gamers just don't buy mature games, and as such, they're gonna focus on family-oriented shit like Just Dance. Apparently, Wii U software sales only accounted for 3% of Ubisoft's total software sales. 3% Given that Mario Kart 8 has sold over 2 million copies, it's not like people aren't buying fucking games for the thing. It's Nintendo's image and the fact that they don't market the Wii U with at least some multi-platform games that's the lead issue. This is the weird thing about Nintendo. With Microsoft and Sony, we tell them to stop with the multi-platforms and actually show us some exclusives. With Nintendo, it's the other way around. Look, I used to say that Nintendo was just for exclusive games, but I feel like I can't say that anymore. I mean, we can already see that the gaming industry is in flux and is not in a comfortable position like it was in the previous generation, at least from the start. People can't be going out and buying all the consoles, or more to the point, it's not going to be anybody like me, like an enthusiast who's just got to buy everything anyway. I mean, I already own a PS4 and a Wii U, and I'm going to get an Xbox One, and I've got a PC. But most people aren't like me. Most people aren't going to spend thousands of dollars on fucking gaming. And that's part of the problem with Nintendo, is, look, you have the best exclusives on the market. I don't think anybody can take that away from them. And anybody who says Nintendo doesn't have the best games in terms of exclusives is actually retarded. Look, this is the deal with Nintendo. Exclusives have always really been the thing that have differentiated Nintendo from everyone else, because their exclusives are so good and they've got so many IPs that they have, which is something that Microsoft and Sony don't have, at least to the same extent. But the fact of the matter is that with a lot of people, you need some fucking multiplats, because a lot of multiplats are amazing. And this is the thing that Nintendo seems to neglect. They tried to get some multi-platform support, but then they just bailed out on it when it didn't work straight away. Of course it's not going to work straight away, because you've always had this kid-friendly exclusive fucking image that you've had for years now. And you need to shake out of that, because the fact of the matter is that you can't keep that image and sustain yourself anymore. Not in this climate of gaming. Gaming is not seeing the substantial growth we saw before. Gaming is going down in a lot of ways in terms of popularity. And as such, you need to make your console stand out. And just consider it this way. If Nintendo released a console that had all of their best exclusives and multi-platform support, if I could only choose one, I'd buy the Nintendo console, even if it was weaker. Well, obviously I got a PC, so it doesn't really matter, but if I only had the choice of one of the three, I'm sure a lot of people like me would be, well, it's less powerful, but fuck the visuals, it's about the fucking games. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day for me. And considering that most of Nintendo's games run at 60 frames per second anyway, I'd be sold on that. And I'm sure a lot of you would be too. As much as you like to say you hate Nintendo, Nintendo do get some things right. And it blows me away. And now that Ubisoft is bailing out on them, things are looking bad. I mean, I can't give Ubisoft shit for this, because they've been one of the only multi-platform developers and publishers who've even supported Nintendo. Now, obviously, they're not doing a good job by releasing Watch Dogs a few months after it's come out. By then, nobody gives a shit. Everybody's already bought it anyway. But Ubisoft have been trying to support them. But the numbers show that people aren't buying the games. And Nintendo needs to market the Wii U and just say, well, we got some multi-platform games for you guys. Not just the Nintendo exclusives that some people might be sick of. If they did that, they'd be moving Wii U's more than they are now, because the Wii U is outselling the Xbox One right now. So Nintendo has it in them. The Wii U isn't just a complete piece of shit. It has a lot of problems, but it has that promise. And it just pisses me off to see Nintendo dwindle that away when they have such a huge opportunity to turn it around. I just don't get Nintendo sometimes. Nintendo, here's what you need to do. Throw money at all of these companies to get them to put their games on your system and market it with those games. If you throw some money at Kojima and get Metal Gear Solid 5 on the Wii U and then market it, and then be like, oh, but you can get Nintendo exclusives too, that'd move them. Throw some money at Activision, who cancelled Advanced Warfare for PC, Wii U, and be like, hey, release it on the Wii U, we'll give you some money for it, and then market that shit. Make some bundles. Let people know that they can get the complete package on your console. And then people will want to buy it. Because there are a lot of people I know who deep down would like to get a Wii U for games like Smash, who just won't because they don't have the multi-platform games that they need to have an all-rounded experience. That's what you need to do, Nintendo, and you'll be moving Wii U's. I guarantee it. So if the completely retarded need more proof that Sony is in a shitty position right now, Sony developer Sucker Punch has been hit with layoffs. Sony haven't given specific numbers and just vaguely said there's been a reduction in the workforce, which could mean fucking anything. So I think it's stuff like this that kind of shows you that Sony aren't doing as well as IGN and shit would like to have you believe. The reality of the situation is that Sony is losing a lot of money, and you can't just say that the gaming division is doing awesomely. They obviously aren't doing as well as you think, because if they were, Sucker Punch wouldn't be getting hit with layoffs. Now, before I dive into tearing those fuckers apart, not Sucker Punch, I will say that I feel bad for the people who've been laid off. Because I like Sucker Punch, while Infamous Second Son was not as good as the first two games, or the Sly Cooper games, they are a decent developer, and it sucks that some of them have been let go. But I think it's stuff like this that just shows you that the way that we're going right now with gaming is not sustainable. Gaming is not as popular as it was in the previous generation. You can't have games with fucking millions of dollars being sunk into development. And it's clear that it's not working. I mean, fuck's sake, Tomb Raider selling 6 million units was not good enough for Square Enix. That shows you that your budgeting is way out of whack. And you know, honestly for me, I don't understand how it happens. Look at a developer, or the developer of the Metro games. Those games look amazing, and yet those games aren't expensive. Those games don't sell that much, and yet they still make a profit. So, what the fuck is going on where Infamous Second Son makes, or at least sells, over 1 million copies, and now they're laying off Sucker Punch developers? Now, I get it. It's a launch game. I understand that. But, I mean, come on. I mean, how much money were we spending on that game? And let's keep in mind, this isn't, like, the first time, at least even in this year, that Sony's been laying off people. Evolution got hit with layoffs, and I mean, Sony have been closing studios a lot. People like to ignore that. Sony's game division is doing okay, but it's not doing amazingly well. You don't see fucking Nintendo closing down all of their development studios. You don't see Microsoft doing it. No, it's just Sony. Sony have shut down a lot of studios over the last few years, and it's stuff like this that should show you that not only is Sony in flux, but the entire industry in general. And you need to stop sugarcoating it. As much as you'd like to think that the PS4 is just, it is the salvation of Sony, it's not the fucking PS2. It's not making as much money as the PS2. Games aren't selling as much, and games are too expensive to be sustainable in this sort of market. So, I think that people need to take a lesson from this. If a game can sell over 1 million units and still not make money for Sony, that they'd have to lay them off because that's probably the reason, I think you need to relook at how you're developing your games. That's it for System Update. Thanks for watching. I'm Fringy, and as always, have a good one.